What's up, everybody? Welcome to the CanesInSight Daily Podcast, powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. A lot of movement in recruiting. Got players coming in, players coming out. We'll catch you up with all of the latest developments in the class, including the recommitment of Malachi Toney, big time receiver, having a great senior year. Also, a decommitment that we will be talking about. Had a great chat with Xavier Restrepo yesterday. Check that out if you haven't seen it. It's on our YouTube channel. Really did an awesome job and was really fun to talk to. Got a lot of fan questions in as well. First, I want to talk about some folks that need no introduction. If you listen to this podcast, Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. If you or someone you care about have been injured in an accident, you could be entitled to significant compensation. Dial 1-800-747-FREE, 1-800-747-3733. Take back control of your life with Anajar and Levine. Pete, hop in.
What's going on, D? Big day of recruiting news. The news broke on Malachi Toney right before we stepped in the studio last night for that conversation with Xavier Restrepo, and then the decommitment now just momentarily ago. So we'll get into both of those things here.
Yeah, let's start with let's start with the bad news first because it just happened. So we'll break it down and we'll get into the good stuff. TK Mo, I never learned how to pronounce his name. I guess this is the last time I'll have to do it. Unless he plays the Canes. Decommitted, a player from the Jacksonville area. Neptune Beach, Fletcher, I believe, is his high school. But this is a guy who had some Inez Cooper comparisons when Miami saw him in spring. Big, physical, nasty player. Announced he's going to decommit. I think that's sort of a mutual parting of ways. It makes sense for him to move on, pursue better opportunities and paths to playing time. Miami has recruited very well at the offensive line position. Will continue to do so. I think Miami's very happy with Max Buchanan, who they have at interior line, who they're able to add after adding TK Mo, SJ Alfatuli doing really, really well. Demetrius Campbell having a really nice season up in Orlando. Jaden Wilkerson, a commit also from Orlando, someone with a lot of physical ability. So that's Miami's offensive line class now. I think they'll try to add a big-time player if they can. Otherwise, you may see a talent infusion from the portal. Not relying on the portal. I think you have enough guys coming back, especially if Inez Cooper comes back like we expect, to play similar to how you played this year. I think Miami would love to add a guy with multiple years of eligibility with big-time talent to supplement some of the recruits that they've been adding. But again, this one I think just mutual parting makes a lot of sense for TK to move on to school where he may get more playing time and better opportunities than the University of Miami. So wish him well, a guy that did have some ability as we see here. But, was a raw player. A lot of development needed to be done before he got on the field. So, I don't think this impacts Miami's present or immediate future at all. If you're looking for guys to play right away in this class, you're talking about Max Buchanan and then certainly SJ Alfatuli. TK, a little bit undersized as far as his height, probably in that 6'3" range, 6'4". And again, raw, has talent, has an athletic ability, as you see here, and some toughness, but a little bit of a ways away. So I don't think this is something that's going to affect Miami in the short term, and maybe not even the long term, but good opportunity for him to find a spot. I'm sure he will have a team that wants his services and that he will be able to contribute.
Yeah, plays with some nastiness, and I think he's probably an interior lineman at the next level, D. But, I mean, look, he's still in high school. I just don't know if from one season to the next how much his body necessarily developed. Who he reminds me of a little bit, his build, is a Dante Lucas from years ago, who went on and played at Florida State. I think was at South Alabama. Maybe he's at Southern Miss now. So he's kind of been all over the map. But we wish the best of luck to him moving forward. But I think this is part of the process of Miami, as we've said, continuing to big game hunt. And as the season goes the way that it's going, you're going to keep yourself in a lot of conversations, and wouldn't be surprised to see someone that we haven't necessarily talked about at this point come into the fold.
Yeah, now on to the good stuff. Malachi Toney, wide receiver, 4-star player at American Heritage, had recently reclassified from the class of 26 to the class of 25. Decommitted upon reclassification, said he wanted to explore his options, visited Alabama, and now he is back home where he belongs, University of Miami. Miami never stopped with Malachi Toney. He is having an outstanding senior season, almost 900-plus yards. I believe he has 12 touchdowns already. He is just having a phenomenal year for American Heritage, coming out probably his best game yet against St. Thomas Aquinas, where he's able to score a touchdown receiving, was able to get interception on defense. Here we got the St. Thomas highlights here. So what you see with Malachi Toney, great route runner, great ability to track the ball. He has enough speed. He's strong. He's not going to be a 4-4 guy. He's probably a good 4-5 guy, a guy with a lot of play strength, which is huge at the receiver position, even though he's only 5'10". He's a solid 185. Again, very similar to Restrepo. Here you see him at safety. Look at the hit he lays down, boom, coming down the alley. So this is a dude that really has some football playing instincts and versatility. And that's what you want at wide receiver. You want guys that are tough, guys that know what to do, guys that have quickness to get open, guys who can catch the ball, guys who have the strength to keep the ball, and guys who can break tackles after they catch it. And also guys with the work ethic and want to. And something about Malachi Toney is a raw kid, raw meaning team raw, Miami team raw is 7-on-7 squad, Coach Duas. So we've had him on a bunch of times, Coach Steve-O, friends of the program. He's with them, and the word on him is football junkie, loves football, loves to prepare to play football. Very similar mentality, according to those guys, to Xavier Restrepo. So we just talked to Xavier Restrepo last night, learned about some of the intangible things that make him so good. A lot of that is what you see with Malachi Toney.
Yeah, I mean, you see him playing safety, as you said, had made play before that, made a really nice jump on the ball. And Restrepo, as he was saying, he might have been a better safety at the high school level, but look at it here. Look at the ball skills. And obviously when he decommitted, I think there was a lot of stuff on social media. Canes fans weren't too excited about it, but look, he goes back, weighs his options out as he says, and you see the interception right there. But no, I mean, I think it says a lot to D, because we see when guys have decommitted from Miami for whatever reason, whether it was a mutual parting of ways or whatnot, this Miami staff still wanted him after the decommitment, and they continue to pursue it. And they usually only do that for guys that they really think are special talents. And we see him blocking downfield here, but I think it says a lot about the potential of him.
Yeah. And again, mentality, I think, is huge here. I've been a broken record on this podcast, Pete, as you pull up his midseason highlights, which were outstanding. Really, for his junior year, it's his last year because he reclassified, but his third year of high school, he's producing like he is. I'm a huge believer in intangibles at wide receiver, and this guy has those on top of the football ability. Again, you watch these highlights. He's going against big-time schools. Here's Chaminade right here, long touchdown. I mean, he's going against some of the top teams in South Florida and producing consistently. Clearly a go-to guy for an American Heritage team. Diabel, quarterback commit for Texas. You see him breaking tackles there. This is someone with some strength, 5'10", 185, but a strong 185. I've seen him in person. He's definitely not skinny. He's somebody that has the strength to play. You see the balance as he breaks tackles. And speed-wise, I think the criticism would be he's not a 4.4 guy, but he's also not a 4.6 guy. He's going to be your solid 4.5, similar to Restrepo, but with great athletic ability, great quickness, great ability to adjust to the ball. He's been a baller since he was a young kid. He's been, since he first got to American Heritage, a go-to guy there. You see him tracking the ball. Just one of these guys with an instinct to play, and also a very good punt returner. I think he muffs this one. Then he recovers real nice here. He's somebody that has, punt returners have that ability to make the first guy miss, which really translates to releases, run after catch. And I think you see all that with Malachi Toney, both as a returner and a receiver.
D, now that he's back in the fold, Josh Moore, I believe, he was not committed when Toney was committed previously, correct?
Right.
So now that you see how the class is coming together with Malachi Toney, with Josh Moore, Dalen Upshaw, who I know there's some other schools still pushing for him there, but how do you see the class now coming together at that position? And I think, again, you continue to see them try to get all these different types of receivers at that position.
Different types of receivers, but similarities. So in terms of the differences, you have Upshaw, who's your true route runner, kind of like KJ Osborne, strong guy, very consistent. Malachi also a great route runner. There you see the one-handed catch, but I think really going to live in the slot, just your classic slot receiver, more of a pure receiver than Ray Joseph, who's there now. Again, more similar to Restrepo, although he's been playing receiver longer than Restrepo. Restrepo is actually a running back and a defensive back for much of his career. We talked about that with him yesterday. Malachi's been a top receiver for at least since he got to high school. So put him in the slot. Josh Moore is your big X receiver who is going to win contested balls, 4 plus, 200 plus, having a great senior year. One thing you see with all these guys, whether it's Josh Moore is more of your X, Dalen Upshaw more of your Y or your flanker, X more of your split end. That's more. And then your slot receiver going to be Malachi Toney. One thing those guys all have in common: great character, according to everybody around them, great work ethic, great production. Production is so huge at the wide receiver position. I've seen so many guys like a Mark Pope where they have a lot of the traits, but the production's not there. And then you find out why the production's not there when they get to college. All of these guys are having great senior years. Upshaw, Moore, and Toney, they're all very productive. They've been productive throughout their careers. They find a way to get open and catch the ball. And again, same mentality, good hands, good strength, good route running, especially more Upshaw and Toney, more being a 6'4" guy, 6'4" plus guy, still tightening up his route running. But different body types, different positions, similar mentality, similar production. And I believe all three of those guys are 4-star players as well.
And then obviously still pushing to land another commitment or two at that position. I mean, do you think that they would take 2 more at that spot?
Correction. Upshaw, I believe, is a 3-star, high 3-star, but certainly being recruited by Auburn, the local school, like a 4-star. When you watch that film, it doesn't look like a 4-star. But as far as someone else, Vernell Brown is a premium target and has been a premium target. Dallas Wilson, another target. I say those are the 2 guys to watch. If you're going to add someone to the class, it's going to be a front line, big ticket item like those 2. I don't think you need it. I think you'd want something like that. I think you do need a little bit more dynamic explosiveness in this class. Just a guy that can take a short pass to the house. Toney's good after the catch. He doesn't have that 4.4 speed of a Wilson or a Brown. So I think that might be the one area where you want to get one of those 2, on top of those guys being 5-star elite players, is just if you can get somebody with some explosive playmaking ability on the outside, the guy that can make a 60-yard touchdown happen. It's missing on the current roster, and I think it would be much welcome in the class to add a guy like that. Toney's not exactly that. He's more third down. You need someone to get open and catch the ball. Just a kind of a go-to guy mentally that he's going to get open and catch it, but not necessarily someone's going to break the game open with pure explosiveness like a Santana Moss type.
D wanted to talk about our partners at Asset Dash, the only app you need in crypto. You see the QR code right there. Scan to download Asset Dash, which is the market-leading portfolio tracker and rewards program where you can do everything from tracking your investments, earning rewards, and now buying over 1,000 different cryptocurrencies on Solana natively through the app. Download Asset Dash for all of your portfolio tracking needs. Crypto, NFTs, stocks. If you invest in something, Asset Dash supports it. Enter the code CANES, all caps, at sign up and receive an upgraded premium Asset Dash Gold membership free for life. D, I wanted to switch gears actually into something, and we didn't talk about this before the show. I didn't, so I apologize if I throw you off here, but we actually haven't talked about this. We had a chance to go to Canes hoops practice last week, and we have the exhibition game against St. Leo's starting. So this isn't going to be a full preseason pod or anything, but I wanted to take a few minutes just to talk about what we saw over there, because it's a completely new roster against St. Leo's tomorrow. And then November 4th next week, Fairleigh Dickinson will be the official season opener. So this will be an exhibition game. Matthew Cleveland doesn't look like he's going to be playing. He was on the bike when we were at practice. I don't think it's anything too serious, probably being, cautious with him there. But a lot of new faces, a lot of new bodies out there. Your overall thoughts from our chance just to see them out there for about 45 minutes?
No, a lot of more size. I mean, you see shooters surrounding an interior scoring kid. I think that's the biggest difference, is the improvement overall in the shooting, and then having a pure post score inside like a Lynn kid who, Ormier had a lot of talents, but in terms of just being that vacuum cleaner down low that's going to finish at a super high clip at the basket, be very efficient in that way, provide post moves and all those kind of things, and then run the floor. You could do the run the floor part, but the interior scoring, I think kid brings to the table while also being able to get out there and run. So I think having 4 shooters plus a Lynn kid gives you a very interesting look. Brandon Johnson was very big. I didn't know he was going to be that big. We talked about that, but he's another one of those shooters. So let's say it's Johnson, Cleveland, who's injured for now, but obviously part of the squad, Blackman and Pack. Those are 4 guys that can really fill it up shooting wise. But Thea, if you add him into the mix, he's also a very good shooter. Staten McCray can shoot. And then Kid's going to just stay there inside posted. We did see that Kyrie Huey was injured with the cast when we saw him. That's going to be interesting. How's the backup center look? Do you just roll with a Jabet or someone like that as sort of your undersized backup center? That's something to keep an eye on as these exhibition games get rolling. But overall, man, I'm excited to see a different style of play with the amount of shooters and then Kid factoring in.
Yeah, I have a bunch of stuff up on the YouTube page from Media Day there, interviews I did, and still have a few more coming that I've been holding off on posting, but those will come throughout the week. Now, D, it's going to be interesting too, because it's funny. Mario, we love Mario, and he has his coach speak ways with the media, but Coach L is very blunt in how he speaks about the team, right? So in his talking about the ability to score the basketball, on the other side of it, you're probably going to be starting a Jalen Blackman and Nigel Pack together, which offensively, I think those guys can score with the best backcourts in the country. But defensively, Coach L said, we're going to find out if they can defend together, because they aren't the biggest. They aren't the most, athletically gifted guys. Again, can score it with the best of them, can shoot it with the best of them. But it's going to be interesting seeing those two play together. So the rotations, I think, because there's a lot of young guys with length on this team. There's you bring in an AJ State McCray, who's probably going to be starting with Matthew Cleveland, questionable. So there's guys with versatility defensively. So the rotations are going to be very interesting to watch with those guys.
Yeah, State McCray, I mean, in a perfect world, he might be your starter, but because you have Blackman, who's one of the top scorers in the country last year, Nigel Pack, who's the leader of this team, one of the top players in the ACC, and then Jaleel Bethea, who was top 10 recruit in the nation. It's hard to sit those guys for too long. But I think in a perfect world, you would see maybe a Pack starting with an AJ State and McCray and have the other two be microwaves off the bench. I understand why that might be unrealistic based on how this all shakes out. But that's why you have these preseason games, these exhibition games, and these non-conference games to really figure out who fits where. May seem some way on paper and appear different when the game starts. One guy I wanted to highlight, Pete, that we talked about is I actually saw him at the game against FSU on Saturday. Isaiah Johnson Arrigu.
Yeah, I saw them walking around too.
Did I pronounce that right?
Arrigu, yeah.
Yeah, he is very physically impressive. We saw him at practice. He was super comfortable out there. His shooting looked a little better than I expected. Size-wise, probably similar to Matthew Cleveland. Would you say that's fair?
Yeah, height. I think he's got. He might. I don't know what they're listed at, so I might be completely off. But just the looks. I mean, he's pretty bulked up.
Yeah,
for a freshman.
They're slightly bigger Matthew Cleveland and looking good. I mean, not doesn't need to lose weight. He's ready to rock. Very impressed just how he carried himself, man. He comes from Minnesota. I thought he might have an adjustment period, but we'll see when the games start. But he looked like he was part of the team already, someone who they could count on at least to play some minutes. And the shooting, you brought up right when I walked in, Pete, he looked like a much more natural shooter than maybe advertised out of high school.
Man, I'm getting excited for basketball season. You see the coverage here. Trenton Breeze doing a great job with the. We got a scouting report on the St. Leo Lions, D. So that's the Trenton Breeze effect. He's going to be very involved in the basketball coverage this year. So CanesInsight.com, completely free, 7 million posts and counting. Go check it out. And then go ahead, D.
Well, brother, like and subscribe to this podcast for all the basketball content. Pete, check the private chat.
I have it ready. Listen, you got to know I'm ready for it. I was gonna say, switching gears as we wrap things up here. Going back to football here. Miami officially launched the Heisman Campaign for Cam Ward, and it's funny. I have a little anecdote. I went to University of Miami, was in sport admin as my minor, and we had a project where we actually had to do a Heisman campaign for a player in college football at that time. I'm gonna tell you who I did mine on, D, and this is very on brand for me. But Rakeem Cato, the Miami Central Rocket, he of course was at Marshall, had to do a whole marketing Heisman campaign around it, and I'm gonna tell you, it was nowhere near what this looks like. I mean, an amazing video by the media team put out today, and then I'm going to pull up the page right here, but they have his resume on there. So this is the official Heisman campaign being launched by the school.
Yeah, shout out to Sydney Miller, Justin Fitzpatrick, the rest of the football creative team did an unbelievable job. We can play the video, right? We're not going to get dinged on that, will we?
Yeah, I think we should be good. Let me I mean, it's here ready, so let me
But if you guys haven't seen this
I
video,
gotta make sure the audio is queued up.
if you guys haven't seen this video, just unbelievable job by everybody. I mean, really, I almost got chills watching this, how good this video was. And I think really when you look at the Heisman Trophy, having gotten past these two games, the two most talented teams left on the schedule, you are now playing some defenses where you're going to score some points. Georgia Tech has a poor defense. Syracuse has a poor defense. Wake Forest has a poor everything. And then the game this weekend against Duke, good defense. They blitz a lot. Maybe personnel's not as good as Miami, and you're going to have the opportunity for some big plays down the field. Very interesting to see what kind of numbers Cam Ward puts the rest of the year. He's got the personality you want. He's already probably the biggest star in college football, along with Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders, as far as like who do people know, right? I think that's fair to say. Talk about, professionals, Micah Parsons, the guys like that wearing his jersey. Cameron and Mays talking about him. I mean, he's kind of he's gone past the culture. So with a nice campaign, which looks like Miami Hurricanes and the football creative team has done, it's set up here. Shout out to Cam Gorby as well, head of communications of the whole operation. All the pieces are in place for Cam to finish strong, knock on wood, stay healthy, win the rest of his games, and have that Heisman moment maybe against Clemson, right? Because that's the ACC championship games before the Heisman. So that might be the one where he's playing for the Heisman. And look, if you want to go undefeated and Cam Ward's effectively playing for the Heisman against Clemson, that'll be interesting. Is he going to be tight? Is that going to be a negative for him? Or is he going to just be that kind of guy that steps up on the big stage like he did against Florida and said, all right, everybody's looking at me. Everybody wants to see if I win the Heisman. I'm winning the Heisman today. We're winning the ACC.
And what effect does that have on his teammates going to that game, who he has obviously, we even see the clips from Florida State. He's been, great with his leadership all year, but I'm sure that'll fire his teammates up as well.
Yeah. It's
so I have the video ready here, D, if you want me to.
Yeah, let's roll the clip here.
Story is unbelievable.
Chip on his shoulder, under-recruited out of high school, from a 0-star to a 5-star.
Flying high, you know how I feel.
There were 249 quarterbacks listed in Cam's recruiting class. He was not one of them.
I'm the best player in the country. I'm humbly saying that, and I'm confident saying that.
The dude is special. The dude is just very, very special.
This guy isn't supposed to be this good.
Cam Ward's having himself a day. When you look at the Heisman Trophy race right now,
He needs to be in New York for the Heisman.
you never sense an ounce of panic. Cam Ward doesn't flinch.
Nothing short of unreal.
I think the first thing that jumps out to me about Cam Ward is you can tell his confidence, his swagger. He's calm, he's collected. He has a low heart rate, low
Cam Ward is
pulse.
doing things we've never seen before. No one does this. Except for one.
Ready? Create something out of nothing. Absolutely sensational. There's a reason why he's at the top when you look at the Heisman Trophy race right now. Spencer Adam Ward comes it to Williams. How do you like this? Just an absolute playmaker at its finest.
Go ahead and buy the ticket and all that, but he also needs to make room in his house where he's going to put that Heisman Trophy. We're not just talking about going there, we're talking about winning it.
Welcome to the Heisman Trophy ceremony.
So there you go. Great work by the media team.
Yeah, which version of that song? The comments, if you know, that's Feeling Good. I know the Nina Simone version. I'm not sure that's that one. I think it's a newer version, but kind of a classic tune there for Cam Ward, and very good to see the young fans, because I've seen it with kids. I mean, I got young kids. I see them with their friends. The celebration, the jersey, which they had, which you can get at the Miami Hurricane team store. Let's get that queued up, by the way. What a say. I didn't even realize that. I think it just hit all the notes. The people typed on the message board about 0-star recruits. I felt I was looking at CanesInSight.com, 7 million posts and counting. A lot of doubters on that side. A lot of people praising people. A lot of folks identifying Cam. In fact, in 2021, one of our posters, Memnon, said Cam Ward was the guy we should have gone after the portal. That was 2021. So there are some people that were on the other side of the Cam Ward debate, believing in him at an early age. But there you go. You got the Miami Hurricane team store, the Cam Ward jersey. They got in U size as well, like the one you saw in that video. MiamiHTS.com, or you can go to the store next to the Thesis Hotel right by campus on South Dixie Highway. Promo code INSIGHT20. You get 20% off. You can also get that state champion shirt celebrating Miami's victories over USF, University of Florida, and Florida State. I'm not sure which one of those is the
and
most impressive.
FAMU, man.
Oh, and FAMU. That's right. So a lot happening, man. I'm excited. We're going to dive into the Duke game. I promise. We got the show with Mike Ryan tomorrow going live. I got Storm Sessions tomorrow with Jaleel Bethea. Check that one out on the Miami Hurricanes official channel. I had to sit down with him. He was awesome. I had Mish Powell and Ez Cooper and Cam Ward on that channel as well. If you haven't seen it, sit down, long form interviews right there at the Hecht Athletic Center. This is official UM podcast. And then on the CanesInSight channel, we got the Restrepo interview from yesterday. Just a ton of content, ton to catch up on as we gear up for Duke, which we will be breaking down as close as you possibly can. But today was a recruiting day. Excited to add Malachi Toney to this recruiting class. He's going to be a good South Florida baller with the right mentality.
Remember to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Go Canes.
Go Canes.
This an insight to the Canes, and you know we ain't playing no games. Joaquin said dominate, so that's what we do. Home of the legends and 7th floor crew. Down in Miami where hurricanes brew. You here for the rumors, we bring you the news. Cause it's all about the you, and nobody do it like